Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included in the Ultimate Base 2.0. In the previous episode, if you remember, we finally explored the second planetoid, and we defrosted another duplicant called Otto. Now, since we already have an Otto in the other base, one of the suggestions I found hilarious was to rename Otto in Otto. And I have to say, I was really fond of that idea. Right now, Otto has basically built everything I told him to build, so what he's doing now is collecting materials and bringing it over to the first planetoid. This conveyor loader here actually comes with manual use, but also a priority of 1. So no matter what other command I give him, he's first gonna do the other command, and then whenever he's got nothing to do, he's gonna ship over materials to the base. I excluded a couple of materials, first and foremost the omelets we're bringing over. I also excluded a filtration medium in case I get it. I also excluded manufactured materials because we are not manufacturing them here, and if I have them here that means I probably sent them over so we can build something here. I excluded the cobalt ore so that I can still craft something with that. I excluded the sedimentary rock in order to be able to still build something here, and I also excluded the refined materials for the same reason as the manufactured materials. Today I would like to go ahead and explore things a little bit. We have to be careful since we don't have the appropriate skills just yet. I think he got another skill. Yeah, we're already into hard digging, but I'm gonna need at least super hard digging to reach everything. While exploring, we also want to be mindful of these plants right here. Those guys are crazy, and this is the only disease you have to be afraid of. Actually, right now it isn't too bad, but there are zombie spores. What they actually do if a duplicant gets affected by them is reduce all the attributes by -18, so they're probably not even going to be able to walk in some cases. And it's pretty much doom time if one of your duplicants gets it. I'm also already pumping out the polluted water. As you can see, this is making its way over here into the first world, which gives me another problem since we have so much water at the moment. I might have to dump the extra water somewhere else for the time being until we have a better solution. I figured we could probably do this right here. Yeah, so every time this vent here is overpressuring, I would like the water to continue, and we can do this by just leaving it downstairs here. The other pipes are going to be used to input, and just like with the aqua tuner, we're basically making a bypass. To do this easily and properly, I will have to build a couple of bridges here, and then we would be continuing downstairs, and probably right here I just want to dump it. Let's do it in this spot right here. So I'm gonna need another bridge here probably and connect this up. So all the extra water I'm gonna collect right here. Hopefully it's not gonna be too much. And in times of need, we're just gonna pump it up again. So maybe let's make sure we prioritize this a little bit so we can make the connection right away and I can forget about it. There we go. 2 bridges are in place. That means I can go ahead and disconnect these guys, and then this is just gonna go straight down. In the meantime, on the second planetoid, I probably want to keep on exploring. Now, I do not have the strength to dig through abyssalite just yet, so we are quite limited. And I also might want to be careful taking apart the cold biomes since we can use them for cooling. Now, one thing I should mention, I always forget to mention it, I never use it because it seems like an exploit, but you can go ahead and dig up one of these tiles and then give it the yellow priority, and this is going to show you what kind of a volcano or geyser you have there. So because that doesn't seem like an intended feature, I'm not going to make use of it. However, there are other things we can do. We can keep on collecting materials. Now, I might want to be careful with the plug slugs. I don't want them to eat up all of my ore. And just like the Dracos, they can walk around everywhere. So I might want to be extra careful with that. However, we can go ahead and take apart all the background buildings here, and I'm also gonna take apart the clock. So now if we check out Otto, he should be taking care of the building projects first, since they have a much higher priority than storing the materials. Another goal of mine, as mentioned, is to finish the research. We actually progressed a little bit. You can see we're almost done with this research, and then I can finish the interstellar research for the cryofuel propulsion, which then is going to allow me to already take apart some of the research equipment. So even though it still means a little bit of manual work every now and then, I do want to take apart the rat bolt generators when they shoot a bolt. Right now they already shot a bolt. It's about 200 degrees. I'm gonna let it do one more cycle. But yeah, as you can see, Gene is taking care of that research right away. We are doing pretty well at the moment in our base. I really didn't have to do anything at all ever since we went exploring the second planetoid. However, there's one thing you made me aware of about these beach chairs, and that is they actually require a different type of lamp to get their full effect. So we're gonna take away these lamps and we're gonna rearrange them a little bit. The way I set this up, we will only be able to support 2 beach chairs, but I believe that's gonna be plenty for our purposes. Yes, they sure do enjoy their showers, I have to say. By the way, the workers are still building in and around my house, so it's just gonna be a little noisy every now and then. Anyhow, what we wanted to do is have a look in furniture, and we needed the sun lamp. That is exactly what we need. We cannot swap this around, and also the molding right here is in the way. Okay, let's try this again. Sun lamp, how much power are you going to require? Wow, 960 watts. That is definitely a killer. This theoretically means we don't want this to run forever. Well, this definitely means we don't want this to run forever. That means we are gonna need a duplicate sensor. It's a little bit of a pity, but I guess we can make it symmetrical by setting up 2 sensors here. And then what we would want is 2 beach chairs, like so. And I guess in this case, we also have the space for a couple of statues on the right and left. Now the question is, how are we going to power this? We do have the space for a small power transformer. Yeah, I think that might be the easiest solution in this case. Power transformer, small guy right here. I want to make it face the same way as the other ones. Actually, that would be the original direction right there. So we can go ahead and connect this up. Then we take a measly small wire here. And what we can do is go straight up and over and into the lamp. Wonderful. Obviously, we're gonna need to bridge this up, and then let's see, duplicate sensors. I don't want this lamp to waste all my power if not necessary. We want to hook up the cabling like so, for instance, and have 2 sensors. So either chair is gonna activate the lamp. That seems pretty reasonable. We're gonna pick up the rest of the materials here on the floor. Looks like I have a little bit of an oxygen problem here. Of course, what we want to do is place some airflow tiles here. Let's also make these out of gold. Actually, copper and gold seem to have the same decor value. And I'm gonna exchange these 2 tiles here with airflow tiles, so we can profit a little bit of the oxygen coming from the left. Power transformer and cabling seems to be in place. Okay, that means the sun lamp is going, and immediately the animation changed. So that seems to be working. Okay, I think that is a pretty nifty solution. Let's check again with the Rapbolt generators. We are probably gonna exchange them the next time they reach 50. In the meantime, I might want to give R2 some more commands. Actually, he's still taking apart everything. Can I take apart the cryopod? Not really. Well, it's a nice relic, I would say. Eventually, one thing I might be interested in this world is a transit tube port, so that we can keep on bringing materials. Otherwise, Otto is gonna spend the rest of his days just hauling. But yeah, we'll have to see how that exactly goes. I'm still gonna give a couple more commands just in case he has got nothing to do. But yeah, essentially Otto is never gonna be idle because there's always something to haul over to the main planetoid. Now, actually, with all the new polluted water coming in, I decided to combine these 2 pools. I want to send them through my cleaning system anyways before I utilize these liquids. But I realized I'm not gonna need the poop water anymore, so I reworded the system here. So the poop water is now being reutilized for the toilet system again, and all the extra water is going into the cleaning system, just like we had it before. Another thing I disabled is bringing coal to this place, because of course coal is going to be our primary power source in the beginning. And then another thing that happened is this plug slug actually got away, so I decided I'm going to make a little encasement for them, and I'm actually gonna keep them indefinitely in here with no food. This actually turned out to function indefinitely in the world I tried it previously. So they're still going to keep the population up, but they're not gonna multiply like crazy. But yeah, this guy's gonna be a little bit of a bugger. So I thought the next time we use the teleporter, it could be for the reason of bringing those plug slugs over here into this room. So I'm gonna send over one of my ranchers to do that. In here, I'm simply gonna need a critter drop-off point as well as a storage bin. We're gonna use the storage bin temporarily to bring all the eggs that are around the world from the plug slugs, and of course the drop-off point to wrangle them up. In the meantime, still doing research. We're almost done here. I'm actually really excited for this because that means we can get into the next stage. Not that I require the research, but once I can take apart the rocket system and the research system, there are great new projects I have in mind. drop-off point is set. Let's make sure we already set it to plug slugs. And then right here, and this is something Otto can take care of himself, are bring in the eggs. Let's actually set this to priority 9, so he does that immediately. Actually, it looks like the egg is not reachable. Incubation time is still 21%. So we're not too much in a hurry with that. In the meantime, the free plug slug is just eating away my metal ores, and I really don't appreciate that. With that in mind, Turner is almost done sleeping. I'm gonna send him over to take care of that problem. Sleep time is over. Turner, you need to go into that teleporter and hop into the other world. Wonderful. Oh, looks like he wasn't too happy about it though. Okay then, time to wrangle these guys up, and I would like this to be priority 9. I also want to open this up at priority 9, and then as soon as they are wrangled up, we might also set this to priority 9. I guess it doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that Turner is bringing these over as soon as possible. Wait a second. Otto is actually able of bringing them over as well. Well, I guess he can still not wrangle them up, that's why we needed Turner. Yeah sure, Otto is doing the job. Anyhow, looking around, I think there is a big likelihood there are not any more plug slugs, so these are gonna be the only ones, and that means I will be able to send Turner back home already. I'm still gonna wait for his shift to be over so he can actually help out with the building projects and everything. Mostly also hauling materials. And sure thing he does it because his building and digging priorities are a little bit lower. He is just delivering items, which is making Otto's job much easier, I would say. I just want to keep an eye on the schedule so I can send Turner back as soon as possible. Maybe I should have unequipped his suit, but I guess in the end it doesn't matter that much. There we go, that's probably close enough. Let's send him back. Hold the phone. Turner, you need to go there, and I'm gonna teleport you back over. That was a nice trip, Otto. I hope you enjoyed it. That was the last company you saw for many cycles to come, probably. Now, I would say the only problem about a self-sufficient base as we have it right now is that I have absolutely nothing to do. On the other side, it is much less stressful. I guess one thing we could finally take care of is a proper storing system. And it's also about time we expand our transit tube system. So my intention right here is to go down a little bit and then turn over at this point. Now let me see, this is not going to leave me enough space for my magnificent plans. I wonder where we should have our main storage. I was kind of thinking nearby the printing pod, since it's already in the way of our ladder system anyways. Let me think about this for a moment. If we took apart both of these ladder pieces, then we went ahead and exchanged this. Let me see, I want to exchange this with an airflow tile. It doesn't matter, it can also be a normal tile, but I think it looks nifty. This would then allow me to place an automatic dispenser right here in order to drop items into that storage system, but I could not build it on the other side because of the transit tube. Basically, my intention is to fill up a little pool of water here and drop all the items in here. The water is going to help to distribute the heat/chill amongst all the items. So even if I get some items in that are extremely hot, it's not going to influence what's happening in the immediate vicinity that much. Same thing with the cold items. But not having the dispensers on either side is going to bother me a little bit. I mean, it would be great to have a transit tube point access here. But I'm guessing I'm gonna have to move out a little bit sooner, then set up a crossing here. And then just beneath here we're gonna have another access point. Let me see, where do we have the power? Our main power line is right here. We can just go ahead and continue it downwards. Now let me reroute this a little bit here. I wanna go through the flooring and then maybe go up here, take this apart. This would allow me to do something like this and actually hook up the transit tube point. Okay, sure, we can try something like this. I'm actually gonna take this tile apart instead of building a transit tube crossing point. And we also don't need that automatic dispenser anymore. I wanna have the tube going like so. That's working like a charm. Let's set up a bottle emptier here so we can fill this up with water. We're then gonna have our automatic dispenser right here. There's gonna be a second one in order to distribute the items amongst these two tiles. But yeah, first of all, we want some water in here, so we're gonna enable auto bottle and set this up. I want the lower two tiles to be filled up completely and the upper two tiles maybe halfway. As for the automatic dispenser, we're gonna start by everything, but we're also gonna say sweep only. This is really important, so whenever I want something cleaned up, I'm going to sweep it and they're gonna bring it right over here. There are a few things we don't want in here, for instance liquefiable, definitely not. We also don't want the polluted dirt, rot or slime in here. As a matter of fact, I don't want polluted mud either. We also don't want the seeds in there. We have dedicated places for the seeds. We also don't want critter eggs in here, and we don't want bleach stone in here. We also don't want the compostables in here, no sir. And we don't want the clothing either. Wow, there was actually quite a few things to exclude from this list, but I think we got it now. Hopefully I'm not collecting anything I don't want. Also, we're not gonna hook this up to power, so I'm just gonna suppress this so it looks a little bit better. Actually, I forgot about something. Reed fiber, I also have a dedicated spot nearby the atmosuit stations. Wonderful, that is working phenomenally. Let's have a look at R2. What are you doing? He is now storing materials. You can see just cleaning up everything whenever he has nothing to do. This is absolutely perfect. I can also tell him to continue working, which I'm actually now gonna do. You can dig up some more stuff and then bring it over again. Wonderful. He should also be happy. Let's have a look at the skills. Yeah, 11 morale, so we can spend a couple more skills without issues. We need to go into super hard digging because there are still things I cannot dig up, such as the obsidian. And then we're gonna work on his mechatronics engineering skills, so he is not dependent on other duplicants coming in for building complicated projects. I'm also gonna send over a little bit more coal. Considering these chests do not have a lot of storage space, they can only take like 1,000 kilograms, a ton or so. We could set up a storage bin next to it with a auto sweeper. I think this might just be the better idea. So if I set up the storage bin here and then shipping, we want an auto sweeper right here, should do the trick. And then instead we're gonna set up the storage chest with coal. We're not gonna allow manual use, but we are gonna set this to all. So no matter what is in this chest, it is going to be brought into the conveyor loader. In order to have a little bit more control over this, I also wanna set up a switch, since we're only gonna need to send over items occasionally and not all the time. But yeah, by now we have over 100 tons of coal, which is absolutely insane. However, there's one thing I noticed. We are losing granite at an alarming pace. So these guys are eating a lot, I have to say. We might have to switch the material at some point, or even switch the type of hatch. I think to be able to better evaluate this, we need to dig up more stuff here. We need to know just how much granite we'll be getting. I mean, there is a whole lot of it, so we might not run out for quite a few cycles, but eventually we will essentially not be able to keep up. What we could do, of course, is limit the amount of hatchlings we have in here. I mean, right now we do get more barbecue than we can eat. Actually, there's still a lot of omelets. So yeah, that is indeed interesting. We'll have to see. I had to exclude the pluck slug eggs here in the conveyor loader. I don't want these to be shipped over to the main base just yet until we have something to do with them, but if you don't know what they do, they essentially give you power during the night. So if we check this out, this pluck slug here will give me 300 watts, this one here only 40, because it isn't properly fed at the moment. But yeah, I have the tendency to not make use of them since we have so many power production possibilities that it's almost not worth feeding them precious ore. One problem we have to take care of immediately is the carbon dioxide in this base. We're still going to keep carbon dioxide in the cellar in case we want to fuel up a rocket or something like that. However, I cannot use the carbon dioxide right here, so we're gonna set up a little system in order to pump that to the main base as well, where I can take care of it. We're gonna install a little pump here. I'm also going to need a Atmos sensor. Actually, what we need is a gas element sensor. Gonna place that right there. Gonna hook it up to our pump, so only if we detect carbon dioxide on this layer, we wanna go ahead and pump it up. We then wanna go ahead and bring this all the way upstairs. Let me actually think. Probably right here, I wanna make my security feature. That means we want a gas element sensor right there, and we wanna exclude everything other than carbon dioxide. As previously, in order to do so, we have to set up a NOT gate like so. We're gonna bring this with an automation wire to the next vent. And preferably right here, I would like to make a high pressure gas vent. Let me maybe finish the piping that goes directly in here. And then we need to bring over a little bit of plastics. So under manufactured materials, I would like my duplicants to bring over a little bit of plastic that I can use to build various things on the other planetoid. I also noticed one potential problem we have with the exosuit forge here is that they actually need to equip an atmosuit in order to get over here. This could be an issue if all the suits are broken at once. Yeah, looks like we have a whole bunch of atmosuits and they are not being brought over. This is slightly concerning. So maybe if we sweep them up, it's gonna work better. Yeah, there we go. Now they are bringing the atmosuits back over again. Okay. I will have to keep this under observation. This could be an issue. Gas element sensor is in place. Carbon dioxide is what we want to detect in order to activate this pump. Did I not hook this up to power yet? No, I did not. And then soon enough we should see some plastic coming through here so we can finish the build. One more thing I should tell you about is I changed the priorities of these guys to 4. They could also be priority 1. I just wanted to make sure in case I store the same materials in a different place that the other place will have the priority. But yeah, as you can see right now people are sweeping things up and it's gonna be brought over here to a beautiful storage area. The plastic has finally arrived. High gas pressure vent was the only thing we required. And Otto actually just earned another skill point, super duper hard digging. This way we will be able to penetrate everything. We're gonna need some more points. In mechatronics engineering, he will basically be able to take care of the entirety of the base himself. However, in order to achieve that, we will have to improve on his morale. So we'll have to think about that too. Okay, before this is built, let's make sure we detect carbon dioxide and then this should be running. And then the carbon dioxide is gonna be a problem of the first base. There we go. This should now easily take care of these problems and Otto can keep on hauling materials over. If we check out my granite supply, just by digging in like 3 or 4 tasks, we gained another 100 tons of granite. And looking at all of this plus the granite we should be getting from the second planetoid, I don't fear we're gonna run out of granite anytime soon. You know, maybe what we could do is bring the exosuit forge down here. This could be a good spot for it. Also, we'll have to think about who takes on the doctoring job. Let me actually have a quick look at the priorities. We have Frankie here, who is helping out with the farming. Maybe we can take on another pilot that, apart from rocketry, is going to be responsible to do the doctoring. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep a lookout for this guy. He could also help with operating, for instance. But yeah, it's not like the hospital is a really pressing issue. Right now, we're getting an awful lot of polluted water from the second planetoid. At some point, obviously, this is going to stop. But then we still have to deal with all the polluted mud and dirt. Actually, thinking about this, we might want to keep this in check by bringing the polluted mud over here as well, since this is off-gassing polluted oxygen as well. We still have 12 tons of plastics. I'm gonna replace one of these ladders with a plastic ladder to make them faster if necessary. To wrap up the episode, I wanted to finish the research. However, I think I'm gonna do that off camera. There's something much more pressing. We are lacking the power at the moment. It is time to upgrade our power situation. We are still going to stick to the coal generators. However, what I would like to see is this being a room. And if we make it this size, it should be 96 tiles. Wonderful. Want to make sure this is a closed off room and then we can set up a power station. Yeah, the power control station. What this is going to do is using refined metals in order to improve our current power generation. Maybe we can make the situation even better by setting up an auto sweeper and then we can have a storage bin right here that we're going to fill up with coal and the auto sweeper will be taking care of the rest. I'm not sure if it is going to be able to reach this coal generator. We'll have to test that. But if we do it like so, we should be able to fit 6 generators in there, each generating 600 watts plus the additional 50% we get from the power station. We need to designate a filter. We're gonna use copper as our refined material. Theoretically, it shouldn't be using up too much, but that's another thing we'll have to keep observing. Yeah, the average power use at the moment is around 7 to 8 kilowatts. Which is more than my rocket can handle, so it usually uses a little bit of power during the day because it tries to equalize the power between all the batteries. Wonderful, looks like we're actually done completely with the basic research. Everything has been researched, which means I can go ahead and take apart this research equipment. And holy cow, I'm gladly doing that. Now we want to fill up this chest with coal. I'm going to give it priority 6 and hopefully the auto sweeper is going to take care of the rest. We should be able to lower the priorities of the coal generators to 1. This way the duplicants will not do anything with them. This should now also function as a power plant room. Absolutely magnificent. We can see Lindsay is taking care of that, creating some microchips that another duplicant needs to apply to the generators. Another small tip you gave me for the interstellar research was to actually disable the cockpit. It has to be enabled to get things started. So right now we are using the cockpit, but as soon as that has happened, I can just go ahead and disable the building and Gene is gonna work the entirety of the day on the interstellar research. At the end of the day, I re-enable the cockpit again and I will not have to intervene otherwise. I also went ahead and actually dug up here a little bit to see what we have here. It's a natural gas geyser. Not really something useful I found out in the past. But yeah, R2 is making a wonderful job at the moment hauling the materials, so I'm gonna leave him be for a little while. In the meantime, let's go ahead and check back with the power generation room. Okay, that actually worked out. We are filling up all of the coal generators. Now, I probably really need another duplicant to operate all of these microchips. They don't seem to be applied right now. But to wrap things up, let's go ahead, build 3 more of these generators, and then we can use another auto sweeper to feed those. That should be possible according to what we've observed so far. So some power wire going up there should be good. It's going to use the same storage bin. And yes, hopefully that will be a much more efficient power setup. Alright, with me finishing the interstellar research, we will be able to take apart this contraption, and then we only have to do the atomic collider research to wrap it up and dedicate our time to another project. With that out of the way, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great time, and hopefully I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye bye.